pregnancy must-haves. These are the things that I think that every pregnant person absolutely needs while they're pregnant. Some of the items that I'm going to mention are fairly obvious and some of them not so much. So let's just go down my list, shall we? Starting off with probably the most obvious one, and if you're pregnant, you should be taking prenatal pills. I actually think that it would be a good idea to start taking them as soon as you are starting to try to conceive. Just because there's so many nutrients that you might not be getting just from food alone, and it's just always helpful. But anyways, the prenatals that I have been using and that I love, I've been using them for about a year already, is from Ritual. So I brought like a completely closed pack, and this is the one that I'm currently still taking. But yes, I absolutely love Ritual. It was a friend of mine that recommended it to me, and the reason why they're so great is the ingredients are top-notch, very high quality, and it's also designed in a way that it doesn't make you nauseous. And then aside from prenatals, I also would suggest taking some other vitamins, unless you are one of those people that have a very balanced diet. I spoke to my OB and she said that most pregnant women tend to also take vitamin D and DHA. I think that DHA is especially important in the third trimester because it helps promote brain activity. No, sorry, not brain activity, brain development, which is what happens in the third trimester with your baby. So these are the two that I would recommend, but obviously run everything by your doctor because you don't want to be taking supplements if you don't absolutely need to. She just said that I should consider taking these, and so I did. And then I also take magnesium. So when you get pregnant, you tend to not use the restroom very often. And so this actually helps a lot, and it's also great for your mood as well. So I would suggest also looking into magnesium. Again, these are just like added bonuses. You don't absolutely need to take these, but I would recommend it. And now on to something that I don't hear many people talking about, but I personally think is a must-have during pregnancy, and that would be seamless underwear. I'm not gonna show you, but just imagine it. Or I can even put some pictures up if you don't know what seamless underwear is. But you know, your body starts to change a lot during pregnancy. You start growing, and the underwear that you wear before is probably not gonna feel as comfortable on your body as you get bigger. And so I would suggest getting some seamless underwear, just because that tends to be the most comfortable type of underwear there is anyway. It's usually very stretchy and is very forgiving. I also would suggest sizing up because, again, your body is growing and you don't want to feel uncomfortable. Pregnancy is already pretty annoying as it is. So if you can get rid of some kinds of discomfort, you definitely will want to. So seamless underwear in a bigger size is a must in my opinion. And then to go along with that, another thing is you should probably stock up on Pantyliners, because I don't know if you know this, but when you are pregnant, you tend to have a bit more discharge than normal. So you're not going to want to ruin your pretty underwear that you just bought. So Pantyliners will be your friends. And then another thing that I don't feel like most people talk about is the fact that when you get pregnant, obviously everyone knows that your boobs get bigger, but another thing that also gets bigger is your rib cage. So a lot of the bras and bralettes that you own are not going to feel very comfortable as you enter the second and third trimester. So instead of buying completely new bras and bralettes, you can just get some bra extenders. They're very cheap. I think it's a lot cheaper than actually going out and buying a whole new bralette, but to each their own. This is just what I would suggest. This is what I have been using and I really love it. So another thing that a lot of women experience while they're pregnant due to hormonal imbalances and all of that is acne. Again, it doesn't happen to every single woman, but it happened to me. And unfortunately, when you're pregnant, there are so many products that you cannot use, and especially the ones that generally target acne, you can't use them, and it sucks. And so I went crazy looking for a product that could help fight the hormonal acne that I was experiencing. I tried so many different products, and the only one that has worked for me is this one by The Ordinary. This is their azelaic acid, and it is completely safe to use while pregnant, and it's actually meant for you to use when you are dealing with hormonal breakouts. So this bad boy is incredible. I'm telling you, this is a lifesaver. I started seeing immediate changes in my skin the moment I started using this, and I just love it. It's also very cheap. I think it was like $8 or something. So yeah, if you are someone that generally struggles with acne anyway, this, get it. And then kind of along the same lines as that, but more with like the skin on the rest of your body, I think that everyone, when they get pregnant, has a fear of getting stretch marks. It's completely normal. It happens to a lot of women. I'm not necessarily sure that there is an exact way of preventing them altogether, but I think that there is a way of at least lessening the ones that you might get. But yeah, so far in my pregnancy, I have not gotten any stretch marks. I know that they tend to be genetic, but I feel like I do have a predisposition to getting stretch marks because I already have some from like my teenage years. I have some like on my inner thighs that I'm not a huge fan of. So when I got pregnant, I really thought that because I already have stretch marks anyway, that most likely I would get it on my belly. I'm only 34 weeks right now, so there's still time, but so far I have nothing, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it's because of these products, but take that with a grain of salt. As soon as I found out that I was pregnant, I've been using this pretty much religiously. This is organic shea butter, and it's just from a brand called Sacred Shea Skincare. It's fragrance free, so it doesn't smell very, very pleasant, but it has like a mix of different kinds of oils. So there's shea butter, there's jojoba oil, there's cocoa butter, rosemary leaf extract, and aloe vera. It's a very thick cream, but I think that because it's so thick, it really moisturizes your body. So I put this morning and night, and I feel like the skin on my belly is just moisturized for the entire day. And then alongside that, I also found this specific product on TikTok, and people were saying that centella is really good to prevent stretch marks, and they recommended this product in particular, and this is by Trofolastin Elasticity. It's actually in Spanish, but I have also been using this because I don't think that it hurts to add something else to my belly moisturizing routine. So together, these are amazing, and I would suggest at least looking into some type of body lotion, not only for stretch marks, but also because your skin tends to get a little bit more itchy as it's growing and expanding, and I think that if you keep your belly moisturized, it'll help prevent that itchiness, at least a little bit. This is another thing that has actually become very useful in the third trimester. If I'm standing up for too long, at the end of the day, my back and my body in general is killing me, and I have found that using a belly band has helped significantly. So this one I got off of Amazon. It comes in like 3 parts, but I'll attach a picture so you can see how it actually looks on, and it basically just supports your belly because you're gonna feel like it's so heavy. You're just gonna wish that someone could grab your belly and just lift it up for you, and that's basically what this belly band does. They're like little helping hands that are so amazing, and you're gonna fall in love with them. So yeah, this I would suggest, again, probably towards the 3rd trimester and maybe even more towards the end of the 3rd trimester. You might not absolutely need them, because I honestly thought that I would be able to go through this pregnancy and not have to use anything like this, but trust me, once that belly gets big, you're gonna want it. And you don't necessarily have to get a belly support band. There are leggings and tops that also provide the same kind of support. I personally really like the one from Blanky. They have leggings that also do something similar, and they're amazing. They look really good. I also have a top, and I don't know if it's from Spanx or if it's from Blanky as well, and it's the same kind of idea, and both of those work incredibly as well. Obviously none as good as this one, and this is also the cheapest option, but in case you don't really want to wear something so bulky, then maybe some leggings or a top could be helpful. And then of course, going back to a very obvious kind of item, is a pregnancy pillow. So once your belly starts getting bigger, it's not recommended for you to lay on your back. And I don't know if you're anything like me, but even if I go to sleep on my side, I always wake up on my back, and it's really annoying. And it also freaks me out because I keep thinking like, oh my god, I'm gonna hurt myself, I'm gonna hurt the baby by sleeping on my back. It's a headache that you can totally avoid if you have a pregnancy pillow. So the one that I actually got is from Pharmadoc, and it looks like this. And as you can see, there's like a little extender option, and basically what that does is it gives your arm some space to like lay flat against the bed and not have it like be propped up. I personally would get rid of it because if you do want to move around, it tends to make the pregnancy pillow not be as like firm. So instead of it staying like this, it might move off like this, and then you can roll over. I don't know if I'm making any sense. But basically, I would suggest getting rid of that option or just getting a pregnancy pillow that doesn't have that, because I don't think that it's necessary. I actually think that it does the opposite of what I need it to do. So yeah. But going back to how important it is, especially once your belly starts getting a little bit bigger, you're gonna want something that is going to keep you in place, especially because when you do end up on your back, you tend to feel a little bit breathless because of the weight of the baby that's like pushing down on your organs and stuff. It's not nice, trust me. So pregnancy pillow, please get one. Next up on the list is a pregnancy app, and I probably should have mentioned this towards the beginning of the video, but here we are. Anyways, so the one that I have is called Ovia Pregnancy, and I personally love it. I think it's a great way of tracking your symptoms. You can also attach notes and pictures and things like that. So like milestones. For instance, the first time that I felt my baby kick, I wanted to write it down so that I could remember. Or the first time that my husband felt him kick. But what I especially love about this app in particular is the fact that there's also like a community tab, and I don't know how to explain it other than it's basically like a forum where you can ask questions anonymously. So if you're having any doubts about whether or not what you're feeling is something normal, you can ask the question and people will reply anonymously with their own answers. Obviously, it's all very like anecdotal and stuff. If you have like major questions, then you know, contact your OB. But it's just a nice way of also feeling like you're part of a community, especially if you're someone like me where like I don't know anyone else that's pregnant at the moment. And so this has just been a nice way of like connecting with other moms that are also pregnant. When I'm bored, I tend to go through the forum and answer stuff myself, and it's just so fun. I really like it. And then the last two things that I would suggest are things that you should probably consider getting for your baby anyway, and that is a sound machine and a humidifier. A humidifier is because most likely when you're pregnant, you'll get very congested and it becomes really annoying to go to sleep and feel very stuffed. So a humidifier helps with that. And then a sound machine is just because you're gonna want one for your baby, and if you're not used to going to sleep with constant noise, then it's probably better for you to start getting used to it before your baby is here. I've actually found it super helpful to fall asleep, so I personally really like it. I think it's been great. But yeah, those are the two things that I would also suggest looking into getting before your baby is here. If not, when your baby is here, that's fine. Anyway. All right, well, I think those are all the things that I have on my list. If I have forgotten anything, which I'm sure that I have, please feel free to write your own suggestions in the comments below. That way we can all help each other out. You know what I mean? But anyways, I hope that this video was useful, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!